Hello, we are in Istanbul doing some street shooting with Nana from the States.
Hey.
Hello, Nana. Can you please tell us about yourself?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to just let people know how we met and to let people know the power of photography. I'm Nana Gyesie. I'm from Ghana originally, but I'm American, based in Washington, D.C. I actually was coming to Istanbul for sort of a different reason, but a large part of it was to do some street photography. And I found Karim's photos on Instagram, incredible pictures. You should check him out, CKN Visual on Instagram. And I just sent him a direct message on Instagram and said, hey, I love your pictures, I'm coming to town, can we meet? And he was very kind enough to say, let's do it. And this was about a week ago, right? Today is April 6th, so this is probably March 30th, something like that, right?
Yes.
And we traded emails, and here I am, here in Istanbul. And so we've been doing some early morning shooting. We started about 7:30. It's now about 9:15. We're taking a little latte break, and we've got our cameras here. I've got my Fuji, and Karim's got his Canonet Kilo 17 somewhere.
Where is it? I don't know.
And then
I lost it.
We're shooting on the Ricoh. He's got a Ricoh, which is a classic camera, just like Daido Maruyama. For those of you who follow street photography, know Daido Maruyama, the great Japanese street photographer, black and white. And so Karim has got he's filming me with that. It's a great camera, by the way. So anyway, so now we're in where are we? Karakoy in Istanbul.
Yes.
Just enjoying the sights. So yeah, it's a beautiful spring morning. Yeah, beautiful place, very laid back. So anyway, that's who I am.
Okay, so how long have you been into photography?
Well, as we talked earlier, when I was in grade school, I used to do a lot of cartooning and drawing, and then when I got to high school, I was very good at portraiture, and that kind of fell off a little bit. And I started to get into photography because I realized there wasn't enough. I didn't have enough surviving pictures of my life growing up. And so when my children were born, I started to get into photographing them obsessively because I wanted a document of their lives. And beyond that, when I got to grad school, I went to grad school in Georgetown, very nice neighborhood in Washington, D.C. And sometimes during breaks of class, I'd walk around the streets taking pictures without knowing I was doing street photography, right? And of course, I started posting my pictures online. This was about 6 years ago. And of course, I progressively got better when I discovered that there was an art form called street photography. And so, that's one of my favorite photographers out of Paris, a guy called Irosana, says, you don't become a street photographer, I told you this, you realize that you are one. I think you have a similar story, Karim. And so, I dove into it. I started to learn more about the art, doing a lot of research online, on YouTube, and talking to people, meeting people, and I can say I'm beginning to have a voice, a style. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I think we're getting there slowly. And so it's been, over the last 3 years, I've gotten a bit more serious about it, where I've traveled a few places, just trying to take pictures and document my experiences and my observations.
You have a nice style though.
Thank you.
Photography.
Thank you.
And what gear you use?
So right now I have, I've got my trusty iPhone 6, which is a really great tool. Actually, some of the greatest pictures I've taken are from this.
Really?
Yeah. See, this screensaver I actually took in Chicago with my iPhone. Then I've also got the widely reviewed Fuji X100T.
Yeah.
So Fuji, if you're watching, make me an ex-photographer. Okay? But this is a great tool for just getting out on the streets and taking some great shots. So
yes.
That's essentially what I have today. I've got a couple of film cameras. Over the years, I've used an XT1, Hasselblad 500 CM. My wife bought me a Nikon FE2 film camera, which I have back at the hotel. Then too bad my Canonet doesn't work. It's broken.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
So back at home, which gear you like?
So back at home, I've got a few films. I've got the Olympus OM1
Uh-huh.
from '72.
Yes.
Nikon FE2 from '79, I think.
So we can say that you have a collection.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yes.
Yeah, slowly. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you describe your photographic style?
So I think for me, photography is a way to share ideas, but also to change paradigms, right? So when I look at a picture, it has to tell me something, something that I didn't know before. So when I look at a photograph of, say, Henri Cartier-Bresson documenting people by the Rhine having a picnic and looking at the unique gestures, right? Or if I look at a war photograph from James Natchway with a guy in Indonesia sitting on the railway, and then, that's incredible.
It's amazing.
Or Sebastião Salgado with the miners, trying to fight back, or James Barner from Ghana documenting Ghana after independence in the 1950s, right? Or Martin Parr, trying to make fun but make a serious comment using humor. Or I could go on and on, right? I think a picture has to tell us something. So, of course, some pictures are pictures for the sake of pictures because it's aesthetically pleasing, or somebody walking by a unique wall, and that's great. But ultimately, there has to be some kind of a story. I think a great picture has to tell you something or make you go, "Wow, this is interesting, right? This is fascinating. I didn't know that happened in that country. I didn't know that." Muslims in Turkey drank wine, or I didn't know that there's a Hindu who eats pork, right? Or I didn't realize that people in Turkey or people in New York eat insects at a fancy restaurant, right? Or the poor people who live right next to the rich people in Karakoy, just stuff like that. I think it's everywhere. It's really daily life, but really finding the stories in the daily lives.
We are trying to make a video. Bastards.
They're supporting our point. That's a great point. But I think ultimately the picture has to tell an individual something, even if it's just a snapshot.
Okay.
I think,
And last, your impressions about Istanbul?
Well, this is my second time in Istanbul, and I think Istanbul is a very wonderful city for many reasons. Of course, there's the obvious reasons. There's great civilization that was here before the Ottomans and so forth. You can see the architecture, the blue mosques. I don't want to waste time talking about that. I think for me, ultimately, when you walk around the streets, people look very interesting. You can see the Kurds, you can see the Arabs, you can see the people from the Urals, you can see people from Africa. I even recently learned about Afro-Turks in Izmir, maybe there's a few over here. So I think it's a multi-layered society, but also a very modern secular society that has a strong Islamic tradition. Of course, we talk about some of what's changing, and I don't think there's any other country like Turkey anywhere in the world which has, sort of a large Muslim base, but it's also very European in its way, and it's on the cusp between the Middle East and Europe, and so it plays that kind of unique role. And I think you feel that. So you read about it in The Economist and Time magazine, you see it on BBC. But walking the streets of Istanbul, you see that and you feel it. And I think that anybody who has an opportunity to come here should come. I remember when I was my first trip here, when we were kind of descending to the airport at Turk, and I looked down, and it had the buildings had this amazing brown feel from the top. I'm like, wow, I've never seen a place as beautiful as this. That's incredible. Not to mention the Bosphorus, the Golden Horn. There's just so much to see. I don't even know how to describe it, Kara, but it's really a fascinating place, beautiful people. But of course, there's crazy people wherever you go, but we want to see the beautiful people, or at least the stories that, the people walking around that tell us stories without having to speak. And I think that's an incredible documentary photography opportunities here. We've done some walking around Taksim and so forth. I think we're going to do some more. And I hope the next time I come, I can bring my family, my wife and my children to experience this as well. But also, I hope you also come to Washington so we can experience Washington. But I think anybody who wants to come to Istanbul should come. I think street photographers know a lot. If you want to come to Istanbul, check out CK and Visual, Kerem Nasipoglu, right? And my website. Well, I have a website. You can check me out on Instagram at Nana Gyesie, NanaGyesie. But anyone who wants to share ideas, just feel free to get in touch. And it's finishing. I wish you the best. Get in touch with Kerem. He's a great guy. We're having fun. I'm looking forward to doing some more shooting. Keep shooting. Peace and love.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye bye.
All right.